It started with one woman. No music, no celebration, no festival. She stepped into the street and began to dance. Not gracefully, not joyfully, but compulsively, violently, endlessly. By the end of the week, dozens had joined her. By the end of the month, hundreds were moving uncontrollably through the streets, collapsing, screaming, sweating, and some of them dying. This wasn't a performance. This wasn't hysteria. This was one of the strangest epidemics in human history, where people literally danced themselves to death. In July 1518, in the city of Strasbourg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire, an event unfolded that defied logic. A woman known in historical records as Frau Trophia stepped into a narrow, cobbled street and began to dance. At first, passers-by assumed she was celebrating something. But there was no music, no musicians, no holiday. She danced alone for hours until her feet bled and her body trembled from exhaustion. Yet she did not stop. By the second day, she was still moving. By the third, neighbors began to whisper something was wrong. Within a week, around 30 other men and women had joined her. They were not trained dancers. They were bakers, laborers, mothers, ordinary citizens. And they were not smiling. Witnesses described faces twisted in pain, bodies jerking uncontrollably, as if seized by an invisible force. The town authorities, unsure of what they were witnessing, consulted physicians. The diagnosis was astonishing. This was caused by overheated blood. Their solution: encourage the dancing. If people needed to dance it out, then let them. A stage was built. Musicians were hired. The plague was, unknowingly, being amplified. What began as a single strange episode soon spiraled into mass chaos. By August, historical accounts suggest that as many as 400 people were dancing in the streets of Strasbourg. They danced for days without rest. Some reportedly collapsed from heart attacks, strokes, or sheer exhaustion. Chroniclers of the time described daily deaths, though modern historians debate the exact numbers. Still, the suffering was undeniable. Victims screamed for help, while their bodies continued to convulse in relentless rhythm. Families tried restraining loved ones, but many broke free and returned to the streets, as if pulled by an unseen command. Eventually, authorities changed their approach. Instead of encouraging movement, they banned music and gatherings. The afflicted were transported to a nearby shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus, a figure historically associated with dancing mania and nervous disorders. There, they were given red shoes and instructed to pray for healing. Gradually, the dancing subsided, but the mystery remained. What could cause hundreds of people to lose control simultaneously? Some modern scholars suggest ergot poisoning, a hallucinogenic mold found in rye bread, chemically related to LSD. Others argue it was mass psychogenic illness, triggered by extreme famine, disease, and psychological stress. Europe at the time was gripped by hardship, crop failures, smallpox, social unrest. Fear was everywhere. Perhaps the mind, overwhelmed by suffering, found escape in motion. Or perhaps something even stranger was at play. The dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's most haunting medical mysteries. Unlike fictional horrors, this event was documented in municipal records, physician notes, and church accounts. It was real, and it forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth about human psychology. Under extreme stress, entire communities can behave in ways that defy reason. The people of Strasbourg were not primitive or irrational by the standards of their time. They were survivors of relentless hardship. When belief systems, fear, and social pressure converge, the human body can manifest the mind's deepest anxieties in physical form. Similar outbreaks of dancing mania had occurred in medieval Europe before, but never on such a deadly scale, and never so well documented. Today, scientists still debate the cause. Was it toxic grain, religious fervor, collective trauma, or a psychological chain reaction that spread faster than any virus? Whatever the explanation, the image remains chilling. Hundreds of people trapped in their own bodies, moving to music that did not exist. And the most disturbing part, it only took one person to begin.